your host of the SE webinar series. I know I've been popping in and out with a couple of my colleagues on the SE team. We love these specific webinar series opportunities where we can meet with you awesome admins. Hopefully, again, give you that one little golden nugget you can take away each time. Today we're talking about marketing dashboards, so you're certainly in the right place if you didn't realize that we were talking about marketing dashboards. And hopefully this is a pleasant surprise for you. But again, thank you guys so much for joining today, wherever you are coming from, whether it's on your lunch, whether this is during your day. Again, all of us are here at Litify are encouraging that lifelong learning and want to make sure that we can empower our users to take advantage of all the amazing things in Litify. Really quickly, again, find us on your favorite platforms. I know this is again streaming on our go-to webinar. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram, as well as our YouTube channel. But again, you're always going to be able to find recordings and resources to all these things on our our resources portion of our website, as well as posting them in the Slack community. So again, whether you're admin, an end user, all are welcome here today, and excited today to be talking about our marketing dashboards. And today's main piece, as I had previously introduced, is tracking marketing spend and ROI with the marketing spend dashboard. And what's really cool about this, I believe we even had a previous webinar about just optimization. Shows you the dashboard on how things dynamically get created based off of your marketing investments. But what's really cool about the marketing spend feature inside of Litify is that for everybody that wants to access this, let's go ahead and just jump right into the demo. Let me just pull over this other page really quickly. You can go to the help.litify.com website here, and you can see this link, track your marketing spend and ROI with your marketing spend dashboard. And you can see here's the link that you're going to be able to download your managed package to right into your org. So what's so awesome about this is Litify provides the blueprint, provides a lot of these features right out of the box to be able to have your end dashboard looking like this, but ultimately customize and configure and really make it work best for your given firm. So again, we'll post that link here. I'll post it towards the end so you can make sure that you can go back and reference that. But again, the marketing spend feature and what it does inside of Litify, and I'm looking at the actual dashboard itself, is it gives you instant insight into your marketing spend, right? And the leads that you've generated and converted from your spending, broken down by given source, right? In addition to that, right, it's going to calculate and display visually on a given dashboard, and these reports are going to pull from your existing sources to give you your real-time data on your conversion. So a couple things come in this package, right? You're going to get specific reports, right? Marketing spend trackers, you can see I use that in multiple different places. I believe there's also the ROI report that are going to actually create this pre-configured dashboard. But you can see my tiles here: marketing spend, intakes generated, retainers sent, sign up versus ROI, right? Broken down by source type. Conversion rates by source, unattributed intakes by category, right? All these things become out of the box with that marketing spend package. So a lot of those key marketing metrics, such as intakes generated, retained, and signed up, right? Getting the real-time data based off of source and time frame, tracking ROI on your marketing spend, right? So I get a quick preview into that ROI. And then I can even drill a little bit further into the given report behind the scenes, right? Calculation of your marketing spend minus your net attorney fees on your sources and their associated costs. So as I drill into this given report, and I know I'm going quickly here because I just kind of want to, highlight what's available in this out-of-the-box report. But right now I'm actually starting to see my spend versus the net attorney fees and how many signups and these are equating to my actual ROI. And lastly, what my actual cost per lead trend actually looks like versus cost per retainer as well. What's it costing me to actually acquire a lead versus getting somebody signed up, and comparing those costs. So are they helping me trend upward in my ROI, or am I spending more than I'm actually receiving there? So excellent. That kind of set the stage here for what we wanted to discuss today. So we'll go ahead and load in that given package, right? So again, for all the awesome admins out there, you just hit that little install link. You can install it for all your given users, right? You can set up specific permissions, right? Because that's actually going to be the first step that you're going to want to do. when you're setting this up. You're going to want to actually assign the users who need this marketing spend feature. So I don't want to spend too much time in here, but definitely want to highlight it. I'll go to my permission sets here inside of Litify, and we'll just kind of follow along and do this live action, right? So in users here, I go to my permission sets. And we know we're going to have all those given permission sets. Again, I got a ton in this this org, right? So many different ways to get there. We can go through the actual, excuse me, here's a Litify marketing spend. You can go through the actual user. You can go through the permission set and manage your permission sets through this way. But here's the actual permission set. Again, it's called Litify marketing spend. We can manage our assignments here to make sure that this particular permission set is assigned out to the appropriate person. So here I am in Dove's demo org here, and this is going to allow me to add and remove assignments, or I can go right to Dove's user license and add that assignment that way. So again, as awesome admins here, so many different ways to do this. The first thing that I'm going to want to be able to do is add that marketing spend, Litify marketing spend permission set to all users who are going to need the spend feature. Then from a setup perspective, I'm also going to need to do one other item. I'm going to have to go into the object manager, and I'm going to have to add the monthly spend to the source layout. So a little bit of configuration that we're required here to do, but nothing too crazy here for our admins on this call. So I search for source. Here's this new object called Litify source that's going to be pulled in as part of that managed package, or that custom package, excuse me. And I'll go over to my page layouts, and on the source layout, what I need to do is add the monthly spend button to my action page. So I'll come in here, I'll go to buttons, I'll go to mobile buttons, and I'll add my monthly spend. I'll pull it down here. And again, for those that are using dynamic actions, you can customize this on the page layout as well. I just happen to do it in the traditional way, but our new page with our new dynamic button editor on the actual Lightning app builder allows you to just pull that button right onto the given page. So we can take a closer look at it. But again, I just pulled it right here per a lot of the documentation in the actual step-by-step guide. Now let's jump back into this actual marketing dashboard. And you'll notice that I have some predefined filters here. I have case type, I have source, right? Which I think is pretty cool to be able to, again, filter these dashboards in real time. What do these mean, right? So again, I'm looking at holistically across the entire firm. So based off of the way that these filters, or I'm sorry, these reports were built, that you can actually filter across all this data. And instead of having 4 dashboards or multiple reports with this, if you're not familiar with filters, here's what filters actually do on side of dashboards. They filter that data based off of a particular requirement. And you can see based off of my given case type, how my data transforms if a case type equals auto accident, if a case type equals workers' comp, right? And now you can see how this dashboard is going to transform based off of all the data that now I've added into the system. And again, I probably need to go in and clean up my demo data, but you get the gist where now I can come in here and make given changes with these given filters. So for those that aren't familiar with adding a filter, one thing to keep in mind is that the actual data has to be consistent for your filters to run, right? So if you were going to filter across, for a specific date range, of course, that's an easy one because it's just going to look at specific dates. But source, thinking if I just wanted to refine the source, and again, because I have a lot of dashboard components that are either showing groups of things, right, where I have these ROIs, cost per lead, and marketing spend. Mostly those are going to affect these top dashboards. So really quickly at a glance, I can see what sources have transformed the data points in these given top tiles. Whereas again, now I'm just going to get and really hone in on one of these given sources, which is really, really neat. So I can see how my Google ads are running, right? I have a nice, healthy pipe of what's, working here in Google, getting 48.2% ROI. What my sign up rates are, and again, just for Google. But to be able to actually add a given filter, you hit the dashboard editor, and now you get your filter button at the top, right next to the component tool. I can go ahead and add a filter. And what this is going to essentially allow me to do is select what I would like to filter at this point, right? So it's going to give me all the fields that are available for filtering. And what I can do is choose which I want to actually filter off of, and then actually rename those particular fields. So I'm just going to go to intake created date, right? It gives me all the fields that are available. Display name, maybe I want to have, I'll just call this, date range, for example. And now I can come in here and add specific values to this given date range, right? So I can use calendar dates or I can use relative dates, right? Maybe I want, last year, for example, right? I can even come in and change the display text, but I have to type in an exact value of what I want to pull in for the display text to format properly. So I'll go ahead and add another date. Maybe I want, last 6 months. And I will add another relative date for, last month and last week, right? Again, you get the gist here, based off of, the appropriate text that we would like to pull in to each one of these given display dates. So now I have each one of these available. So I have last year, last 6 month, last week. We'll go ahead and apply that. Oh, and you can see what I actually did here is I need to just create one at a time. So I'll go ahead and apply. I'll add another filter value. That was actually me drilling it down. I want last 6 months. One last, thanks for bearing with me, last month here. Perfect. Apply, and I'll hit add. And all I have to do is go ahead and hit save. So now what I've done is added an essential another lever or another filter to this dashboard, where if I wanted to filter anything, that was, equal to last year, it's going to filter off that given created date that I chose. And based off of the data and the metrics that I have in the system, again, now it's going to refine my data points to allow me to add another slice to this given report in this particular dashboard here. So a nice ability to add filters for the source or the source type within this given dashboard. One other, tidbit of information that I think is important to know here is there's a couple different fields that are going to be required and objects as well. We talked about sources and we talked about marketing spend. So we have two other objects in the system, one being source. So you can see here, I just, opened it up here. If you want to find your source object, you just type in your sources. And here's your sources that then become available. So you can see I have an entire list of sources that now become, available in the system. Google, billboards, right? You include your monthly, spend amount, what it actually is. And we're going to attribute a spend to one of these sources, right? So if I go into, billboard, for example, and again, mine are very general here. You want to get more specific if you would like to. But you can see what it does. The only real required field it needs is, maybe it wants a record type and maybe it wants a source name. So if I was to create a new source, you can see that I can simply just hit new source. I can choose from one of the existing record types within this object. You can certainly add more record types if you want to get more specific for reporting purposes. We'll call this paid social, for example, right? Again, not very specific if it was tied to a parent source, again, for marketing pieces, right? And we wanted to kind of roll things up into given campaigns. You have the ability to, say, hey, this is going to be 2021 marketing, right? And then all of my efforts are going to roll up to that parent source for reporting purposes. Certainly have the ability to do that. And then in conjunction with those sources is going to be the monthly marketing spends, right? So this is actually where I come in and include a spend amount, and I attribute that we can then attribute all the cases from that given source for that time period to your dollar amount. So adding monthly marketing spend to your key sources and begin tracking those leads for ROI on your dashboard. So again, to add monthly marketing spend, you can hit, I'll go to recently viewed because I guess it didn't, I got to cache this really quickly. Let's go ahead and refresh this page for that new button to pop up on our given screen. Perfect, so there's my new for monthly marketing spend. I'll go ahead and hit new. I'll go ahead and search again what this is going to, which source this is going to be attributed to. So you can see we already came in and added the billboard for July. Let's go ahead and add Google for July. So I'd simply go ahead and add Google. I'd hit my start date, right, which just needs to be within the given month. So, maybe I like to do them all for the actual start date of my choosing. I like to do it on the 1st of the month. And let's say, for example, we spent, $5,000, or we're going to spend $5,000 this month. I'll go ahead and hit save. What that's going to do is going to create new data, right, related to Google. You can see we have an auto naming on it that's just going to give me the given date. And now what this allows me to do is, as I just add any intake that comes in for the month of July with the source of Google, it's now going to be attributed based to this monthly marketing spend. So it's really important for you to know that you should only enter one monthly marketing spend, right? One of these records per source each month. So for example, again, we'll use if we spent $10,000 on Google Ads, and then I spent another $5,000 on Google Ads within the same month, you want to add those together and create, $15,000 a monthly spend on that given monthly marketing spend source record, right? So instead of creating two for the same month, we want to create one for the entire month. So if you ever had to go back and edit, of course, you have the ability to do that. Reports are going to update just fine, but we do want to keep some consistency around having one of them. For the marketing users, maybe create some validation rules, again, because these are just objects inside of the system. So you can check for duplicates, right? If something already contains, or if I have duplicate records, to make sure we're not, throwing off our SKUs when it comes to ROI. But you do have the ability to set those things like that up, but make sure that you just have one marketing spend per source each month. Okay. So we talked about the objects that we created. We talked about where we actually enter the data. One other way to do this is you can most certainly do this in mass, or if you're new to this and don't have this dashboard going, you can data load to retroactively add the marketing spend data. So because this marketing spend dashboard is going to rely on new data, the dashboard is going to be blank until you add monthly spends to those sources. So you got to backfill the data to get you a head start, right? You can use data loader for that, right? So I can go in, if I have that downloaded on my machine, I can use the Salesforce data loader. I can use the import wizard as well, because these are just objects. So if I go ahead and search import wizard, right? Data import wizard, I can then search in a given spreadsheet with a couple of columns, source, amount, date, and then upload those marketing spend records. You certainly have the ability to do that, right? So if I go ahead and launch the actual data import wizard, I can upload a CSV file based off of those specific columns. Or for those that are familiar with the Salesforce inspector, you can upload data that way as well. This is just a little Chrome extension add-in. Salesforce inspector allows you to really quickly import data into the system. So for example, if I load up the inspector here, I want to either insert or I want to update information, right? Again, any update's going to require an actual ID. But now you can see here, if I wanted to upload, monthly marketing spend, right? There's that given record. I paste in my data here from an Excel table. So again, what would my report look like? Right, I'd have a spreadsheet that would probably show something like, I'd have my source ID here, right? Because that's a lookup. So I need to have a source ID field here. I would need to have, an amount field, and I would likely have that start date. I think those are the three required fields, right? So instead, you wouldn't have Google in this section. For the inspector, you'd actually have your lookup ID, your 16-digit, lookup ID. So I'll just, pull this out really quickly. Go to attorney referral, for example. I'd grab my 16-digit ID, or I'd pull it out of a report. I'd have my amount for 2,000, for July, right? So I do 7/1/2021. But oh wait, when I import data into Salesforce, it needs to have that specific form, right? So I go to my more number formats, and I just make sure to put this in the acceptable format, which is our year, month, date, day format. And now this would be acceptable data that would allow me to paste it right into the import wizard. Again, I love this tool. It's a great admin. You got to map, great admin tool. You got to actually map it. So here's the source field. Here's the amount field, there's spend, and date, start date, boom. All right, so I have those three fields. I can just go ahead and, let's see, no ID column. Oh yeah, because I actually didn't upload it to an ID, so I'd have to reload it. Let's do an insert. Try one more time. Source, spend, date. Perfect. Okay, I got everything I need, right? So this is just going to be, a test one that I'm uploading. I'll go ahead and import. There we go. We got a success here, right? It actually created brand new data here for my monthly marketing spend. We'll go back to that list view that we were just looking at. As soon as that data pops in, there, boom, there it is, the one that I just created, attorney referrals for $2,000. So again, a lot of ways to get data into the system, retroactively add things, using the data loader, using the Salesforce inspector, using the what's the last one? Import wizard, right? So a lot of ways to get information into the system to pre-populate this data if it would be brand new. But also really nice to capture these items on a spreadsheet to be able to load them in all at once, or if you're an awesome admin, you have a better way of entering that data into these particular fields. However you would like to do it, whether it's at each month or whether it's being proactive and getting them into the system. But ultimately, those data points within monthly marketing spend and the marketing dashboard are going to allow you to create some really clean and high quality data. Excellent. Would love to answer any questions if anybody had them. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and post a link to the help article on the Litify help desk, right? That allows us to walk through a lot of things that I talked about today. Of course, you can always reference this setup guide. And of course, it's, I guess the last thing I'll comment on before we part is that, of course, all these things are going to be editable, right? So you can take things that, are specific to you. You can take things that you may, you don't want to have here, or pull them off these given dashboards. Hey, maybe this, on attribute, we don't care about that, right? We don't care about, those are pretty nice trends, right? I have this one, motorcycle accidents by marketing zone, right? So I have it by county, for example, right? I can pull those things off. Again, that wasn't an out of the box report. That was just actually something that I had created. But the point is that you can add and remove, specific dashboards, or clone this dashboard and, manipulate it in the way that you need to. And of course, you can come in and edit and choose, how your reports are going to be powered. But really what we wanted to provide here is a head start based off of, what we've received and gotten from best practices from a lot of our other partner firms on how we are going to be able to, work and get the most ROI, again, out of Litify, get the most ROI out of these marketing dashboards, and identify areas, right, where, if I'm in marketing, or even if I'm the admin and we don't have a marketing dedicated person per se, right, now we can start to see like, hey, you know what, these particular campaigns, we're getting smoked in billboards, right? We actually have real insight into this now, where billboards are only getting us 9%, but we're crushing TV ads. Let's pull, the $48,000 and pump it right into our TV ads, because that's where we're getting the return from. Those are the kind of things that people are really benefiting from, because it's the first time that they've actually been able to quantify, because they put everything in one place within Litify, right? They've been able to actually quantify based off of what their cases are settling for, where they're coming through, right? How can we turn that into real ROI? And a lot of our firms have had some great success with this marketing dashboard. So I hope everybody on this call today, whether they're using it, whether they're not using it, finds a way to either enhance their current use case, or to be able to introduce it to the firm. Again, any questions for those that have not rolled this out, reach out to your CSM. They can really help you get this set up if today was not helpful enough, or they can certainly pull me in for any additional setup questions or help. But again, we love the opportunity to work with our firms here. It's really a partnership. We really want to continue to enable you guys. So any feedback would continue to be appropriate. Please, float it our way. Would love to get new ideas for things you guys would like to see on these webinars, things you'd like to learn more about, things you'd like to dig into a little bit further. You can always find us